Princess Serena, not Princess Serena, and today we are kicking off the new year by looking back at my top 22 pins that I got in 2022. So normally I pick a pin per display, but this year I actually didn't add to every single board. So I don't know, growth? Okay, like I'm getting specific and focusing on, certain collections over others right now. So instead I picked a good 13, 14 off of different displays, and then the rest just overlap on the same boards, but I still didn't pick more than 2 on each board. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're gonna start with a classic on my channel, Wally. I'm so happy. I feel like he's been getting a lot more love this year compared to last. Although I only actually added 2 Wally pins to my collection this year that I actually kept, but they are both spectacular enough to make this top 22. So, oh my gosh, this has been an ISO of mine for so long. And yeah, so you got Wally and Eve is so giddy and love is spelt with a fire extinguisher, and this is so perfect because I just think of the space scene and my favorite Disney couple, please. Wally's little eyes. And I love the unique shape of this as well, and how it's not just on a background, like how there's actual gaps, if that makes sense, with the pin. I like that. And it's an LE 400. So next, the Wally pin I may or may not have shown on my channel yet, because I got it from this huge unboxing, which either came out in November or is going to come out really soon in January. So regardless, keep an eye out or watch it. I'll link it if it's already up. But yeah, so I was gifted this pin by Laura and Ryan, spoiler alert, from that video, but I was so over the moon. I think I threw something. I don't know. I'll give you a sneak peek of that right here. No, you didn't. I love what makes this pin the best ever is just Wally just being so excited and shy, and he's just in himself. It just screams his character. He's the purest, most innocent Disney character to ever exist. And it's limited edition of 1,000. Keeping in the Pixar family, I had to add the last 2 hide and squeak pins this year, and I picked my fave of the 2. So we got Remy and Barrett. I just love how I feel he's just closing his eyes so he could really smell the bread, taste the bread, bread. This is me after Passover, after a week without bread, hold on, this is a big deal. I'm gonna have my first piece of bread in a week, And it is a limited release, and it was so hard to find, but I am finally a completist of this beautiful set. In my kind of miscellaneous / Grail Pixar non-Wally board over there, I don't know how to call that board, because I'm not going to be simple and just call it my Pixar board when I have at least 4 other Pixar displays. But this is my Coco Artline pin. It is an LE 200, and it is so stunning. I love the screen print on it just because of the enamel framing it. That really enhances the pin and the art. It literally is art. All pins are art, but Artland, it's in the name, and they live up to their name. Come on. And I'm looking forward to adding more Artland pins in my collection in 2023, hopefully. Well, I added 1 High School Musical pin to my collection this year, and this, of course, wasn't too difficult to get considering it was a new release, which I'm never getting over, that they released a new High School Musical pin in 2022. And you cannot convince me this is because of the show High School Musical, the musical, the series. It does not say that anywhere, okay? So I am considering this canon in the original High School Musical universe, okay? And I just love how it's pin on pin with the basketball, and it's so simple with the Wildcat mascot, and yeah, it's great. And yeah, please make more Wildcat High School Musical pins, Disney. And then I also added a Hannah Montana pin to my collection this year. I feel this pin has a double life. On one end, it's just this ordinary pin living an ordinary life because it's an open edition pin. But on the other end, it's actually really hard to find. You can't find out her secret, that she's actually secret. I feel she's secretly limited edition. It's no way. It's so hard. I sometimes see it in collections, but I've never seen it up for sale and trade. But yeah, alas, she is mine. And I love how how it's like an actual string as well. This is definitely one of my top ISOs coming into the year, so I'm so happy I was able to find her. Moving along from a super specific ISO to a pin that I completely traded for randomly, I had no plans in getting otherwise, is Daisy as an ox. I'm an ox, the year of the ox, so you know, I thought why not put it on my personal pin board, and she just looks super happy and like proud to be an ox, like yeah, that's my sign, you know. It's cute, and I love Daisy, and any excuse to add her or Donald into my collection, I'm all over it. Keeping in the Fab 5 family though, Daisy technically is like part of the Sensational Six, but you know, that's not fair that she's not included. She's literally Donald's girlfriend. But Mickey and Minnie here for the 50th. I was so happy that I was able to make it. It was incredible. Nothing short of spectacular. Nothing short of the world's most magical celebration. Like, they are not wrong. I love how that's the slogan. Like, it's perfect. You see the castle of Magic Kingdom here and the fireworks, and there's just nothing more magical than ending your Disney day with fireworks. Another pin I traded for, but that one I traded before my trip. This one I traded after because I wasn't in love with the Pop Century pin that was available at my resort, so I did stay at Pop Century. I just loved the coloring and the theming of this one much better, plus it's smaller, and this is my choice for my travel pin pick for 2022. You know, mostly it's non-Disney pins, but I have 4 Disney pins that make up that board, and I like them to be more on the smaller, more subtle side, just so they blend in and don't stand out too much on their board, because you know, Disney, you know, takes up most of my pin displays. Let my travel ones kind of have a little spotlight of their own over there, and it's such a special board. Because I couldn't choose off my Pixar alphabet board, I thought I would honor that board because it's one of my favorites and pick a Pixar in General pin that I got this year. It just doesn't fit on that board because I'm not touching that board ever, so it's actually pulled off my Pixar Grail miscellaneous board over there. It's actually a spinner, and speaking of my Disney trip, I actually got this on my Disney trip, and I didn't know it existed coming in, so it was cool. Like, you know, I feel like I follow Disney Pins blog, I like see everyone's posts of like the new releases, but I missed this one. It's a perfect almost completer pin to my board because I'm putting it in the top middle there, just because like they're all Pixar pins, so it's perfect that it says Pixar Animation. So I haven't done this before, but this is my favorite trader I have right now. You see, it's not like a trader that I like list, so like I obviously can't trade it if I don't post I have it as a trader, but like if I really want a pin, I will show them a couple exclusive unlisted traders like for certain ISOs. But yeah, like I love this pin, and I again got it from the collab that I, you know, may or may not have posted yet, spoilers. But I really think it is so neat. This hero versus villains pin. You have like Peter Pan on one side and Captain Hook on the other, and Peter Pan looks upset as if like he's the villain as well in the original story, and also in Once Upon a Time, you know, reminded me of that, of course. How it's split down the middle by a sword, like that is so epic, and it's a limited edition of just 500. So an actual Once Upon a Time pin, I wanted this pin low-key for a while, but I'm like, you know, I don't want to spend like how much like they're asking for on eBay and this and that, but I actually got to trade for this and 2 more pins from this set, and it says get hooked on Hook's like arm, and it's so funny because like I was hooked on this show for 3.5 weeks. I binged all 7 seasons back in 2021, so I feel like this just represents my experience with Once Upon a Time. Yeah, and it's just like blank on the back, but it is an official pin, and it's glossy, and it says once and then upon a time like in the middle of once, which is cool because a lot of people call this show like Once. Yeah, I love the puns. We live for the puns on this channel. And with that, it's a perfect segue to my fantasy pins that made this top 22 list. So we got Robin here. I was so happy to finally have Robin find Regina, because of course Robin was one of the last pins I could find on this whole profile series. And it is like, I was surprised how big this one was. Like all of the profile like pins from this set is definitely really big, but like this one is even bigger. Like I feel like it's wide and tall, that's why. And I just love how creative the background is. I mean, all of the pins on this, but this one's one of my favorites just because it has like the lion tattoo on the shield, and then you have like his bow and arrows in the back, and it's perfect because he's also facing Regina when you put him on the board. And this whole series, the best part of this series isn't even what you can see here. It's on the back because they all have a quote. So this one says, "We all get a second chance." And this is limited edition 35, which like makes sense why it was one of the last ones I could find, because most of them are limited edition 50. So I had to add a third Once Upon a Time pin, and I was gonna choose my own, but I feel like I've, you know, shown that a lot recently, and I will show it again in the future. I mean, of course, it's no doubt. So I wanted to show this new profile series that is being created, and by the time this is out, I probably have the Regina one and cried, but I don't have it in hand right now. So I'm gonna show Miss Emma from Storybrooke her classic look. I love this one, but I already know that I'm gonna like the Regina one much, much more. Like I saw a photo, I literally was on the verge of tears. Like, I remember when I first saw the design, I like was literally bawling. So for now, we'll show Emma in her place because it is still a beautiful pin, and Regina can't take that away from her. Just like she can't take Henry away from her either. It's a gorgeous back that shows the creator and this series. Moving from one fandom to the next, we're crossing a line into Tangled the Series territory. This is Miss Cassandra here, my fave. Hey, look, the blue, it kind of matches on my shirt. That's amazing. So this was like one of my biggest ISOs going into 2022. My gosh, she's so fierce. It is pin on pin, as it should be. You need her in your face. On the back is gorgeous too, with like the sun and the moon, and it's an LE50, and it was so hard. Like I was patient with this one because it was a little bit on the pricier side, but I struck a deal because I also got the Hurt Incantation version of Rapunzel. I love like the darker-esque pins with Tangled the Series. I feel like that's my like niche within my Tangled the Series collection. But this one is like this is probably one of my top 5 pins in my whole collection. Like that is how much I love every little element of this pin. There's no special like pin on pin, glow in the dark, this or that. You don't need that. You know, she just steals the show. It's just Cassandra, 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 and Cassandra again. This is called like an evolution pin, and they have one of like different characters as well. And it just shows her whole character arc, and I'm not gonna get into it now. I've gotten to it like many times, and once again, I'm definitely going to rewatch the show next year, and then I'm gonna have a proper review. So stay tuned for that in a few months. But you have the Dark Kingdom, and you have like Corona Castle, and it's just perfection. And I love pins that tell a story, hence the pins that I make, like, you know, with the background and then the multiple characters and everything. And it's the same character, but it's like multiple like areas of her life like within the show, and it's just so beautifully represented. So thank you, Dapper Pins, for like literally going into my brain and like, yep, conceptualizing the pin I would exactly make, I feel. So yeah, thank you for reading my mind. And my last Tangled the Series pin is on the board that has like all the 3-inch pins here. And I actually have 4 pins on that board. It's exciting to have them in a row. It's really cool. It's really satisfying. So this is by Visionary Pins, and I got the bulk trade for this one. So thank you again. It is so beautiful, and it is like one of the heftiest pins I own. It is actually so heavy. And oh my God, like Eugene, I'm not usually into the Eugene pins. I like his character, I'm just not into like collecting him, but this one was a must. Like, it's so gorgeous, and this scene with the Book of Hearts, and you have Pascal there in the middle, and oh my gosh, he's always the star of the show. He's the star of this pin, that's why he's in the center, obviously. And the back, it says mesmerizing moments LE50. Like, how beautiful, like all the hearts instead of like Mickey waffling, you know? So another fandom I'm a part of is Ariana Grande. So this is the only pin I got this year. It is from my favorite creator that makes Ariana Grande pins, and next era, I'm sure there'll be new pins, and I will be buying one of them. I like to represent each era through pins. You usually don't see too many pins of like celebrities. Like, not all like fantasy pins or like Disney related. There's like Harry Potter and like stuff like that, but it's cool that there's like a whole kind of subcategory for Ariana Grande. Like it's enough that I have a small board that I painted pink. So yeah, this one represents positions, and yeah, it's beautiful, and I love the green, just that little detail because that's kind of the color of the era. Like I have the vinyl, I'm looking at it right there, like it's literally the exact same color green. And then I pulled another pin off my travel board just because the other one was Disney. So I wanted to show you a M&M one that I got when I went to Disney Springs. So I guess still related to Disney. And on my play board, I added quite a few this year. And my favorite is definitely the Harry Potter one. I just love how unique the background is, like with the time. And it's from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which I thoroughly enjoyed. This one's like a really nice design. It's very clean, it stands out, but it still feels like a play pin. I don't know how to describe it, but they're usually pretty simple. They're usually pretty basic, nothing to them, but I really like the design of this one. And then not my travel board, but like a board of pins of places I've never been. That's where this is from. So I usually, like most of the pins on there are like pins that I've received from friends and family that have gone to places that I've never been. So I don't want to put them on my travel board because I haven't traveled there, but it's still, you know, thoughtful and I really like looking at them. So I have them on a separate board. This one I actually got myself when I was in Banff because we were supposed to go to Moraine Lake, but the road was closed because there was too much snow on May 17th. Yeah. That's Canada. No, it's not where I live, but some parts of Canada, that is a reality. But no, seriously, I loved the weather there. Like, I much prefer that weather. But Moraine Lake, it's just a gorgeous pin. I found many Banff pins. Like I found over 10 that I actually kept in my collection of places I've been and everything. But this one is just gorgeous, the coloring. So I really hope to go to Banff one day in the summer and see all of the lakes like this. And finally, my last pin, which by the way, of course, this was in no particular order because me ranking my pins, yeah, that would never happen. It was hard enough to just pick these. I was sitting for a while, I'm not gonna lie, like staring at my wall. So this actually isn't on a board at all. I kept it in the box, but the other 3 pins I got sent from this toy company, and they were so sweet to just send off, you know, these pins as I saw my channel. And I have a whole video talking about all of the background of these pins and these characters, and it's really interesting. And they were kind enough to send me along a box to share with y'all. So yeah, and this is my favorite of the 4 pins I got. I think this is a great note to end on, you know, like, yes, great choices, Serena. Here's an overview of my favorite pin acquisitions of last year, at least one from each collection. I do that because then you get to see a lot of collections I don't show very much on this channel. Plus, it makes it a whole lot easier. So that's it for my top 22 pins of 2022. I hope you enjoyed. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more pin-related content from me. And going into 2023, I think there's going to be a lot less pin mail. And I think 2022 also had a lot less in comparison to, like, I feel like every year I just get less and less and less. But like every year I love the pins more and more and more because like I'm pickier with my collections, right? Except Once Upon a Time, like whatever they make, I am grabbing. And I would love to know in the comments below what your favorite pin I showed was and what your favorite pin acquisition was this year. And as always, take care of yourselves and have a magical day. Bye.